Hi guys, this is my 1991 Mazda Miata, and this is a review of it. It has the 1.6 liter V4, well not V4 engine, it's a 4-cylinder engine, makes 115 horsepower. It has a convertible top because it's a Miata, small door handles like you can imagine. I'll go over the top real quick. You undo those two latches, you put them on that. I'm just going to demonstrate for you, but I'm not actually going to keep it up for any length. You basically do that right there. And then you work on that part right there. You're basically trying to get these latches to stay on, and they usually don't like to. Like basically you have to do that right there. You do that on both sides like that, and then the top comes up. And that's fine, that works. And then to unlock them, you just do that, and you throw it a little up, latch them back, throw it back. That's how it works. Now the trunk itself is really small. Let me show you that. Basically you take your key, throw it in here, and you open that up. And this is how much you get. You get a donut usually, and then this is all you got. On these older ones, the battery is in the back. To get your gas tank, you open up center console and you press that button there. And you use that button, if you can see it right here, is the it's the tank opener. It opens up the tank. Now, this is going to be fairly short because I'm going to keep this simple and sweet. Now, not a great day for a Miata drive, but it works. Now, a car like this, now I want to go ahead and talk about it like this, because in the last video on this car, I really rambled on. I want to give you an honest opinion of this type of car and this car in general, because I believe my last video, well, it might have been entertaining maybe, at least it might have, I don't know. It had problems of it just wasn't really, I just don't think it did a whole lot for you guys knowing about this car. So, this car functionally, the main thing about it is it functionally can drive pretty well. It drives incredibly well. It's not incredibly fast or anything. And I'm just shifting normally. I would rev it up higher, but there's no real point. You're probably going to drive it like I am. But the main problem with this type of car is there's not a lot of storage. It's a very fun car though, and for the price you can't really beat it. I mean, let me go over what this thing has. It has the pop-up headlights. It has a air conditioning control, like you can imagine. Mine doesn't work. I can't comment on the air conditioning, and everybody's air conditioner works differently. It has, you know, floor vents, defroster. You'd have a cassette player usually in one of these. I have an aftermarket radio. 5-speed gearbox. The gears are very smooth with the original clutch, or at least a clutch. It's fairly nice. It's not bad at all. The car revs up very smoothly. I would say it's very swift, if not fast. I mean, I'm not a great driver of this car neither. I mean, this car really does a lot of fun stuff, and it weighs so little that you don't really need it to do a whole lot. The visibility is great whenever you have the top down, but with the top up, there's so little visibility that it really hampers you. And with a plastic rear window, it fogs up very easily, making it even harder to drive this car. In terms of the storage in this car, you have 2 pouches on the back of your seats, or at least with original seats. You also get a glove box, a center console that's really small, and also houses the gas tank latch. And you have a very tiny trunk, but you can probably put a duffel bag in there. You might be able to fit a small suitcase, but I wouldn't say you could go and travel with this type of car. It's not bad though, but it's not good neither. But for the type of car, you're not probably going to travel in it. Because, well, it's a Miata. This thing is more or less something to have fun with while you're at home. Now, I have an aftermarket steering wheel, but I would imagine if you had no power steering in this type of car, like mine, it would be perfectly fine. You'd have an airbag if you had the factory steering wheel. And in terms of how it drives incredibly well. And there's not much to really talk about with how it drives. It's very smooth. It has very nice, I mean, you can see here, there's very little body roll. I mean, the body does go back and forth, but you feel connected all the time to it. Like, it never feels vague. That's kind of the problem with a lot of cars that I've driven, is they feel really vague, and I would not know if it's due to the power steering or if it's just the car itself is a very vague car. In another video, I'll show you a 80s economy car called the Plymouth Horizon. And frankly, that car is very different from this, and I think more notable. Also, you have the circular air vents, so they go anywhere you like. They're weird. I would say they're very hard to control. I mean, they're not bad. You can definitely manipulate them, but like with mine, they get a little stuck, and you can't really fix that. The courtesy lights, mine don't work, but whenever they did, they were not bright, and you can't really expect much out of them. They are very much box standard factory lights that doesn't illuminate much, because they're not mounted like up here or anything. They're mounted where you can't really have a justification to use them because they're shining at your feet. They're not map lights, they're courtesy lights. And I would say there's not even a reason to use these because they're so low that you can't really find them that handy. The gas tank, I forget if I said if it was 8 or 11 gallons. Either way, it's a fairly small gas tank, and there's not much you can do about it. But it's not a bad gas tank for certain. Anyhow, I think that's about it. I'm just gonna pull in here and then I'm gonna stop the recording. So, overall, what does this Mazda Miata do? It's a very fun car. It's a fun car for people who like to try it out. I would recommend, personally, if you got one of these, try it out. Or if you ever have a friend who has one, ask him if you can drive it, because a car like this is not for everyone. But they're cheap, and for the amount that you pay, you can't have much more fun than one of these. Anyway, later guys.